Welcome to Curation Conversations. We're live at AdWeek New York, and I've got the fantastic Hélène Parker at Hélène Parker Consultancy. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us in this crazy week.
Thank you for having me. This is so great. It's nice temperature outside. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
The sun is shining. Yeah. We are in this sanctuary, I feel, at the moment as well, of being able to get out of the AdWeek craziness. But, Hélène, talk to us about your experience so far. I mean, you are the queen of programmatic. There is nothing you don't know. You've had this incredible career on the buy side. You're now working as an independent to be able to bring that wealth of knowledge into the mindsets and into business. Just tell me, how did you start? Where did this come from?
Well, I started June 24th, 1989 when I was born. No, I'm kidding. I'll skip to 2019. I'll fast forward again to 2024 second here. But in 2019, I decided to freelance. And if I'm very, very transparent, it's because I was tired of working for this particular agency, independent agency, and being the only Black girl. It was very draining. I absolutely love what I do. And so I looked at my husband and I told him, we wanted to start a family at that time. We had just gotten married. It was a bliss. What? It's still a bliss. I still love my husband. Okay. And I realized I had way more to offer. And so fast forward, a freelance gig landed into a LinkedIn Live, that landed into a mini course that we have, that landed into an accelerator program. And then in the last couple of years, companies have hired us to train their people. And so my background is almost 100% buy side, trader, moved up to planning strategy, being the director of a team of analysts and trader as well, and then moved on after that. And so that's what we do. We train traders. And so that's how it all started, is that I got fed up. I got fired from my last job and then was like, you know what? I just want to do something new, something that challenged me for real life. Yeah. And then that's what I did. I started and I tapped into the network that I had built and still building and asked the community for some help when I needed. And this is where we are now in AdWeek.
I love it. It's incredible. Thank you for sharing. I mean, from adversity, you've literally kind of built your own space, your own future. And in such a real kind of intricate area of media. I always think, we're at AdWeek and they just cover all bases, but being a kind of programmatic purist is such a huge amount of work and education required, and to really know the nuts and bolts of how the industry work and how ads are really delivered and maximizing the opportunity. So where do you start with training? What's the kind of 101 to go in on?
So that's a really cool question. Thank you for asking, because training is one of those things that we assume happens when we first start in the first 6 months, in the first 90 days. And it's actually something that needs to continue. I always tell my programmatic ninjas that trains with us that if you are looking for a mentor or you're looking for a coach or a trainer and they're not consistently learning on their own, run away. And if you're hearing this and you're a mentor and you haven't read an article or listened to a podcast or taken a certification or just learned something new in a while ago, it's okay. Today is a new day. You can go ahead and get started and get your refresher or keep learning something else. But I would say what we focus on is hands-on keyboard training. So I was a trader for many blue moons. I like to joke that in my previous lifetime, Excel was bae because I spent a lot of quality time with Excel. And so if you don't know Excel, there's a lot of YouTube. Matter of fact, there's an influencer, shout out to Miss Excel, look her up, that teaches Excel in a very, very fun way. And trust me, she's amazing. You can find her on TikTok, Instagram, Google her. But we're very much hands-on keyboard, very much focused on technology. We like to cover some level of fundamentals first. Mm-hmm. So not only what programmatic is, but what's the life of an ad impression? What does it take to see the ad that shows up on your publisher, on whatever, on Blevity.com, on blackenterprise.com, or whatever advertiser or apps, publisher or apps that you're consuming. Mm. And so we like to hit on some of the fundamentals, and then we dive into the data analysis of those things, because I think we get very distracted with the word data, and we say, oh, I can do data, I know how to read data, but can you pull insight from this data? Is it intelligent insight? Is it just your average CPM is $3, your average CTR is 0.5%? Is it that, or is it, oh, this consumer has converted, which means it's taken action here at this time of the day, on this day of the week, and after X amount of frequency. And then before it got to here, it maybe was exposed to a streaming video or a CTV OTT ad. Yeah. And then it was exposed to maybe search, and then it was exposed to social, and it came back to the display. I don't know. Like, are you able to really pull that boring data in Excel into like real information that you can utilize? And then what to do with that. And so that's what we focus on, is really simplifying the whole damn thing, because we like to overcomplicate shit too much. I mean, have you Googled any acronyms, programmatic acronyms in the last week or so? There's always something new. You know, I mean,
we shall create one for this conversation. By the end of it, there'll be a whole new glossary. Oh my gosh, my mind's going everywhere because I have so many questions for you. This might turn into like some batshit crazy squirrels all over the place having conversations. But, you know, with the program that you do, are you finding that your clients are slightly different? Are more brands basically consuming kind of programmatic knowledge and education as they're looking to in-house? Is that something you see and are fully aware of?
I think it's a little bit of both. So a lot more of the programmatic ninjas that sign up to my courses, or sign up to the accelerator program, or just watch a workshop. Like, we have a free workshop coming in October, at the end of October. And so just those people that just want to learn beyond what they're given come from independent agencies. So think of maybe they don't even hold the title trader. They hold a paid media specialist, or a strategist, or growth brand something. Sometimes it's an account management. Sometimes it's a sales even person that joins. And so it really depends. And in the last 2 to 3 years, I'm seeing more and more brand in-house engage with our content. And again, what I mean engage with our content, to very much clarify and be very fully transparent, is any workshop that we do, that I host, any podcast that I host, any course that is purchased, any accelerator program that you sign up to, which is also an investment to some. And so any of those that I mentioned, we see more people that are, I work for this brand, or I've worked for this brand, now back on the agency side, or I work for the agency, now back on the brand side. So you'll be surprised, more and more of the 0 years of experience to maybe 4 to 5 years experience are willing to self-invest outside of their work environment. And it's a great thing, but companies that want to retain talent need to pay attention. Because there's 2 reasons why, and those are the 2 reasons why people have conversation with us, is that, one, I left because it was a toxic environment. Which usually means my boss was terrible, somebody at work was horrible, things like that. 2 is I don't see no future for me. Yeah. So how do you offer the future for this person? It's like, give them some training, teach them something else, give them the opportunity to expand their knowledge outside of their job description. Pay them fairly, please. Honor their time and their expertise, and then listen and care for those people, you know? And so a lot of those that are joining end up going elsewhere because they realize, like, oh no, I've acquired this skill. I've went to my job to tell them I'm acquiring this skill. Yeah. 1, you won't reimburse me for it. 2, you won't pay for it too. So now I want to do more of that. I want to be able to do new things and not get stuck, right? And be told at the end of the year that we don't have a Christmas bonus. Like, nobody wants to hear that, but for many reasons. But that's what I'm seeing more and more happen, of those more of, like, it's almost like us when we were like 5-10 years ago when we first started in the industry. Like, I wish I would have had that. I wish I would have had like a Fern Potter talk to me about things, like we connected on WhatsApp during, was it via the Women in Programmatic Network at first? Yeah. I mean, I wish we had a Women in Programmatic Network, Advanced Women, all of the clubs that we have or organizations that are so supportive of women or people of color in the industry. But highlighting the importance of diversity and continuous learning and training and education. And so that's who those people are. But now they have these options, right? And some of them are not afraid to even self-invest.
Yeah.
And so that says a lot about a person. Like, yo, you just came across this influencer and now want to self-invest in their course. Yeah. Like, one, you're badass. I commend you. Keep doing what you're doing for learning. And then, so companies need to pay attention. They need to pay attention to that.
Yeah, that's incredible, isn't it? And I think you're quite right to kind of point out the level of support and knowledge share that is out there now is really unbelievable. And it's so grateful for all of like the trailblazing women that are providing those spaces for us to learn, but also kind of learn safely in a really comfortable and really super cool environment as well. Like there's some great events that we get to go to and awesome people that you meet along the way. Well, let's go back to the tech, because I want to talk to you about, Programmatic is really involved and it's been on this incredible journey. And, I think that similarly when we've spoken before, you can kind of take what you want from Programmatic and put back in. There's plenty of aspects of working in Programmatic that give you opportunities to maybe work with data or audiences or client services or in the platform or trading or just a wealth of opportunity, isn't that? And as Programmatic's matured, as it's become more prevalent part of every campaign that's been planned, what do you think has happened over time to evolve that, and where do you think it's going really broadly? But where do you see Programmatic to date and its kind of maturity of the open web, and where do you think it's going to head to?
I think I laugh when I hear people say, "Oh, Programmatic is in its infancy," and I'm like, it's more like a teenage years and not a good one. And I'm kidding. I'm very bullish when it comes to that. But I would say where I'm seeing things is that I am seeing more and more specialized services. I'm seeing that some, even on the DSP side, that some DSPs and tech, for instance, because again, I'm on the buy side, they're more willing to be flexible, to offer maybe composability with their offerings, which means being flexible as a DSP. I'm also seeing that more and more independent agencies, which is who I work with very closely, I'm seeing that they are willing to also master a vertical. And so we've seen a boom of those pharma and healthcare focused department or agencies in the last few years. Yeah. We're seeing a lot of retail media boom. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to continue seeing more and more media networks show up.
Interesting.
But not when I hear media networks, people think ad networks. I did not say that. It's the opposite. But I do think that more and more specific boutique style verticals and technologies that are going to do those very, very well are going to increase.
Yeah.
And so we always joked as traders that, oh my gosh, we have so many DSP to work in. Well, some of us average 6 or 7, I think. Wow. But at the end of the day, I do think that most agencies will only work with 1 or 2 of the DSPs. Think of a MediaMath or a DV360, and then a boutique style DSP, I don't know, a cognitive or like a Pulse Point, which is maybe not a DSP, original DSP, or is it Pulse Point?
Yeah,
I would say they are. I was always confused that their SSP side, their supply side.
Yeah,
it's confusing to me as a trader. But yeah, so we'll see those tech really master this 1 or 2 verticals. Yeah, and we're here for it. I mean, that's why Amazon is doing Amazon is doing.
Storming it with their partnerships. So that's a great segue into how on the buy side how do you manage that kind of multi-DSP? I've got to turn the conversation into a little bit around curation, hence the topic. But multiple DSPs, multiple SSPs, like where's my best next impression? And how as a buyer do I control that and make sure I'm driving my business outcomes and getting the most efficient supply path? Like, what does that look like?
So the good thing is the buy side still hasn't figured out the right formula yet, and they're still trying to figure it out. So you hear a lot of us say the testing of this and that, and the reason why we are working with multiple DSPs because this DSP offers us only this very well. This DSP was one of the first, but is lacking of that too. And so I think a good example too is the fact that I've heard some clients of mine use maybe MediaMath as their main DSP, and then all the MediaMath offers all. They are, I'll hear them also go, oh, but we went direct to Roku, or we went direct to Vistar for this particular thing, or they'll be in DV360 and they'll say, well, we want to do cannabis, or we want to do political to this X amount of budget, and sometimes it's lacking here, or we're in basis and we want to do digital out of home. So they go back to Vistar or another digital out of home DSP. And so most of the time, an agency or agency trading desk does not want multiple DSP per se. They don't just get up one day and be like, we're going to have a seat on all of them. Most likely there has been a specific instance where an advertiser came and needed this specific thing and a new tool was in need that maybe your current toolbox did not offer. And so in the case of curation, I think the biggest thing is that we remember that curation is part of the strategy, not the only strategy. That it existed apparently it existed a while ago, because I remember when it first came out like 2 years ago in some Ad Exchanger article, and I was like, dang, I ain't never done curation. And my friend was like, yes, we have. Literally, this is what we were doing. And this agency, I was like, for real? She was like, yeah, for real life. So, okay, yeah, I guess I've been doing this, but it's part of the equation. It's a percentage of the budget. I think the main thing is to remember that being part of the strategy means there is opportunity to spend more in curated deals and spend less depending on what we do. But like, if there's anybody listening, watching this thinking, well, how we get started, when is what's the secret percentage of like how much money should not be in there and whatnot. I think the biggest thing is that what are we really trying to do? If you are in a specific vertical and you are looking to be, your strategy is localized, right? So like it's specific to the zip codes, or specific to this city, or specific to this season within this area, then that's when maybe an open exchange or an open inventory may lack of. You don't have, it's not enough. So you need to extend it with maybe a curated deal, or maybe tested via the private marketplace deal. And so sometimes it's as easy as look what's happening in your campaign right now. If you're pulling a site list or a supply vendor report, again, Excel is Bay hashtag. If you are in this moment and you see that there's a trend in your site list or your app list, most of them are news. Some of them are news, let's say, for the sake of the example. Some of them are lifestyle magazines specific to Black and brown communities and things like that. Then reach out to a vendor that does it really well, right? And say, hey, I've been performing really well on, I give the example of Black Enterprise earlier, so let's just use them for the sake of the example. They're not sponsoring this podcast, but we'll use them, and they're good if you want to reach out to them.
Please get in touch.
Yes. And so you see that some of the Black Enterprises sites or lists are performing well. Reach out to somebody at Black Enterprise and say, can you provide this curated deal? We have this strategy. We have a range of budget, because they got to know a little bit of that too. So you got to tell them, we needed this specific region. What can you do for us? Because right now, this type of inventory is performing well. We heard you were doing good. What can you do for? And then you build a relationship, right? And then you negotiate from there, and then you test them. But you test them, and you trust your partners to do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right? Because like I don't want to work with you and then bark every corners that no, we can't do this, we can't do this. Then maybe we shouldn't work together. Like I want you to be able to do the work to maximize this partnership.
I think and you make such a good point, because the open web is a source of audience discovery. It's like finding that net new audience. It's finding that that product market fit for whatever whatever as an advertiser you're trying to sell, and then being able to refine that through curation, and then further refine that through direct PG.
Yeah.
But then ensure that media owner is closer to the advertiser brief.
Yeah.
I think that's that kind of evolution that we're seeing from programmatic being open RTB into, hang on, now we're about audiences. Now we're about brand experience. Now we're about quality. And I think what excites me, and we talk about a lot of multi-local, is this kind of shift from curation into cognitive, where you've got actual kind of user behaviors and experiences coming into the signals that you can find programmatically, which before was like, oh, it's price, it's CPM and scale, and you know, that kind of that evolution of really going into extracting brand values on both sides. I love, and bringing that gap closer together, I think, is something that, especially as we see more formats going programmatically, right? You need, because you can't plan programmatic digital at home the way that you've done display.
That's exactly right. For like ever, right? Display is the OG. And you're right. That brings a good perspective into some channels and placements need curation to work, right? And that's okay. And that's why we do what we do. That's why we test. That's why we have measurement tools. That's why we have people like y'all to really help us and educate us and let us know, like, this is the type of audience. Because at the end of the day, whatever we do in programmatic on AdTech is like to make sure that consumer is doing something with our campaign. That something is an action, is a sign up, is a phone number, is a purchase, is an order, is whatever you want to call it, that action, that conversion. That's what we're trying to really pull from that consumer. And so we have to remember where they spend the most times. Is it on Netflix? Is it running on Spotify? Is it buying diapers on Amazon? Is it whatever it is? We meet them there in a as non-disruptive way as possible, and that we use this data and pull it into insight to help us do more of that elsewhere. You know, so you it's almost like repeat and rinse and like remix it too.
Yeah, I love that. I think there's the enhancement that you can get to make the entirety of that campaign grow, drive, deliver outcomes. You know, like you said, find that next best insight. Like what's new? I remember running a programmatic campaign many years ago that, discovered that there was a speaker brand. And we got this peak every September, and everyone was like, why? And it was students getting their student loan. Well, this speaker brand was only marketed, and the creative was built for affluent audiences. It had a high price point. And with this student loan inside that we found programmatically by advertising in the open exchange and via curated deals, enabled us to go, hang on, we need to build a program around this and creative. So I think programmatic lends itself into being able to help discover those audiences better. And I love that it's across all formats. And it's brand, not just performance, right? You can do everything. So Hélène, we're at Adweek. What are you most excited about going into this week? What are you going to be seeing? What is your must on your list, your must-haves?
Well, Unplugged Collective was a must, and I'm glad I'm here and I made it. It's funny. I was just joking. My husband was just joking me about this. He was like, you're literally flying to New York for 4 days to go party. I said, yeah. Literally.
Solid work.
Yes, honey.
It's network.
He would have been here if we didn't have children, many of them, that we love, obviously super sweet kids. But it's for the happy hour. So I'll be at AdTech God, Madison Avenue Returns. Tomorrow, the Unplugged Collective, Tuesday, the Unplugged Collective has their own happy hour. And then I'm going to give a shout out to the All Things Advertising, which is a community of AdTech marketers, programmatic folks here in New York. Apparently 600 people are in that community here in New York, and they're all in our industry. And I'm like, dang,
and they're all in that AdTech building, going up and down the escalators.
So they're having a happy hour as well on Wednesday that I'm looking forward to meeting. Meeting some of the folks.
Yeah.
But also it's just making connection. Like we've been talking, like I feel like I've known you for at least a couple of years, and like this is our first. Oh, maybe we met in Cannes a couple of years ago. I can't remember.
Briefly.
Possibly.
2 years is like 20 years in advertising, right?
At least.
But yeah.
So it's about, I'm excited to be here present, but also to make meaningful connections. And I know it sounds so cliche, but it is. Like it really is. Like so some of those people we talk about WhatsApp channels, Slack channels here on LinkedIn all the time. And so it's about making those connections. And then going home and continuing to share some of this knowledge that we required. So I think having this type of space that really breaks down the barrier or breaks down that little box that we're forced to check off once in a while is really important. Being able to build this safe environment where we can have conversation like we've been having all day at Unplugged Collective is super dope. I mean, I'm super grateful to be here.
Oh, it's incredible work that everyone's doing here. I just absolutely adore it. And thank you for sharing your knowledge and wisdom. I will make sure we include all the links so we can go and see your content because it's brilliant. And I think, for anybody, as you said, in trading, no matter how far into their career they are, the joy of what we do is that reinvention. And I think continuous learning, development, and the services that you're providing is so incredibly needed and valued. So thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you for having me.
It's been wonderful. I love it.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. And then keep doing what you're doing. I love what you're doing. I love your mission, what you stand for. I think you're amazing. So thank you for being you if nobody told you this today.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.